My name is Jim Rector, and I am the investment manager for Ethos IRR.
Hi, I'm Mike Reyna. I'm the managing member for Ethos IRR.
And I'm Troy Van Brunt. I'm the asset and portfolio manager for Ethos IRR.
Absolutely. So you're asking about the return, right?
Yeah.
Returns
Yes.
and so forth. How the structure of the fund? Mm-hmm. Okay. So
Yeah, I mean, and I'm trying to help educate myself as well as somebody else. But I mean, we're talking about investor first, results driven, integrity always.
Right.
I mean, that's when we started this. That was what you said.
That's our tagline. That's our motto.
And so that, we're. What does that really mean? I want to get into that.
Get into that.
I want to talk about that.
So we talked about investor first. We've talked about a little bit on the returns.
Yeah, the return first. You return the capital
You
first.
return the capital first. And, as far as the details on the subscription, we can get into that, or we can basically
Probably
say,
not.
come.
I mean, that's probably in the weeds a little too much for this
and
conversation.
you can come to our website and grab information about that, and also look at subscriptions. Whatever you need, we're here to provide that. So it'll tell you what the investor will get for that. The last component on that is integrity. Yeah. That's a good question. And the reason why I put that in the mission statement, I totally believe the fact is that the biggest thing you can give to somebody in a business transaction is your integrity to somebody else. It's more than just this.
Yeah.
It's somebody going, I will do everything I can to, no matter what. And it's one of those. Because, you don't know really a person unless you're in the foxhole with them.
That's a great statement. I mean, I have a philosophy that, it's easy to be great and congenial and do the right thing when everything's going your way.
Yeah.
Let's put somebody under a great deal of duress. And real estate puts people under a great deal of duress.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, yeah. There's
Emotional, financial. I mean, it's a stressful environment.
Right. It's not fight or flight. It's fight.
Yeah.
And it's, all together. You protect your family. You protect your people.
Yeah.
And so from an integrity standpoint is you protect your investors. You protect that. Because the only thing I have left in life, if anything else, is Mike Reyna, is my integrity. It's me.
Yeah.
It's my soul. It's my person. It's my purpose. So, you don't want to tarnish that, and you want to protect that. And so, if things go awry, well, you look somebody in the face and you say, "This is what happened. This is what's going to do it."
Yeah.
So I got to live with myself. I got to, sleep good at night. And I love my sleep. So, integrity is a covenant, protected idealism, whatever you want to call it.
It's an ethos.
It's an ethos. It's an ethos.
It
is so important to me because, and I want that culture of ethos and really the integrity part to just talk to people about that because it's so scary. It's scary from the standpoint of people trying to, invest in real estate and they go, "Hey, I like to do that," or you have friends and family and you're investing money, which is great because why you're investing? You trust that person.
Sure.
I'm in a different profession, whatever it may be, and I want to get into real estate. Maybe I have a little stock portfolio or whatever, but the great wealth builder is real estate.
Sure.
I can go touch it, feel it, smell it, look at it, have some control over it. Stock, I can't. I'm at the beg and mercy of whoever's running that company.
Procter & Gamble is running their company.
Right. So in this case, you're a limited partner in the company.
Yeah.
And so you have some say-so. But the nice thing is you can go see it, touch it, feel it. So from standpoint of kind of our mission statement, breaking it down, I think one of the, it's the last part of our kind of mission statement, but it's also probably the most important, is I want everybody to know that the most important thing to me to run this fund is that they look me in the eye and they know that they can trust me.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Because you're trustworthy.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons I wanted to be your partner.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah.
I've seen you under duress. And we've done things that are difficult where everything's going wrong in a development deal.
Right.
And everybody realizes on that team that we've got a couple of choices. And one of them is you knuckle under and you do what you have to do to get to the finish line, whatever that is.
Right.
And a lot of times that costs you money. It costs you blood, sweat, and tears, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And I've seen you do that personally. And it's one of the reasons I admire you as a human being, and I count you as a friend. But I think I want people to understand what that really means because,
Yeah.
you know, it's easy to say. You hear a lot of lip service in this industry about blah, blah, blah. You know, we're this, we're that. But the truth is, you know, I've gotten to see you, and now Troy of late, you know, when we've done things that are difficult things.
Right.
And I feel good about our ability to put the investor's money and really the relationship with that investor before our own. Let's protect that to our own detriment at times because there are times where we're not going to make any money, but they are.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that's how we structured it. That's how we
Exactly.
structured this fund. Is they're first.
I think it's the most attractive thing about this
Right.
Yeah.
this fund.
It's no, and all the things that we've seen the other funds.
Yeah.
Yeah. We took apart all the rest of the kind of models we've seen in different funds, and we said it's more to the fund manager than to the investor.
Oh yeah, no, it's good for the fund manager. All the disposition fees, you can fee everything to death, and you know, and all of a sudden they're doing really well and you're not.
Yeah.
and that's
To
not what
us,
this is about.
it's long-term brand for people who feel that, hey, I feel comfortable. I've done some deals with
Yeah.
them. They're not gouging me. They're not doing. It's total transparency. You know.
mean, would you go
You pick up
so-
the phone and you call somebody and said, hey, I'm here at this property and I wanted to talk to you about it. Absolutely.
You hit on transparency, and that's one of the things I wanted to talk to Troy about. I mean, what does that look like for the investor? You know, Juniper Square is a tool that we have that we offer. I mean, can you kind of elaborate on that and talk about the transparency that's available?
Absolutely. So as far as transparency goes, you know, and I'll stick kind of on the financial side, but then, you know, kind of going back to the relationship part of it, multiple ways. I mean, one, anything that we're looking at, anything that we're running numbers on, anything that we have a deal with, we're going to present that to the investor, and they're going to have access to it at all times. Going back to what you were saying was that Juniper Square program.
Yeah.
So when we first started this, we were trying to figure out a way that we could, you know, have the investor have the ability to look at their portfolio, to look at their numbers, their returns at all times. And so we went through a few different companies, and we stuck with Juniper Square. Juniper Square is a great company, and basically is an investor portal that allows the investor to go at any time and look at any of their information and where their returns
So
are.
just like looking at their bank statement.
Basically, and that's a good point. I mean, it's just like being able to log in and looking at your online banking. I mean, you get to sit there and see exactly where your numbers are and you know what your returns are. And as far as the transparency part of it is, you know, going back to what you were asking about, you know, how we operate, and is it on a monthly, is it on a weekly, bi-weekly? I mean, as we're generating these reports and these numbers, we're also giving that to the investor. So they have access to it. They can see exactly what we see. And we want them to. We want them to, you know, because it's our credibility, it's our integrity. And we want to say, hey, you know, you're part of this team, and this is what this is what we're producing. You know, and if it's not, you know, if it's not performing, we're going to let you know. Hey, this is one we thought was going this way. It's not. You know, we're going to have to change directions, and this is why. But, you know, we'll have those hard conversations and say, you know, give you the reason why we think this is either a great deal or, you know, we need to change. And
Change direction completely.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think it all ties, you know, Jim, on that is, again, the integrity part, because, I mean, if you just put money into the stock market, right, you have no idea what happens. You just see, you know, ups and downs.
You're strapped into the roller coaster.
Yeah,
That's it. That's all I know.
absolutely. You know, is there integrity? You know, who knows, right? And in this case, I mean, again, that's why it's full transparency as far as the portal. 24/7, you can go see it. You know what the numbers are.
They're seeing information almost in the same time you're seeing information.
Exactly.
Correct.
The information that you're making
It's live.
decisions on.
It's live information.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
so it's pretty live on that. And obviously, you know, it's not saying that, hey, every deal's going to have a bad deal. You know, it's not. It's basically, it just shows you, this is how we're going to buy this asset. This is what our model is. Best case, underwrite risk. Like, again, I'm risk averse and conservative. And so when we look at an asset, underwrite risk, look at what the highest and best use of performance models that we do. He runs numerous high-level detail, down to the penny analysis. And we, as you know, you look at all the construction, the components, what's going to happen, what's the finance, you know, all those things. Obviously, and he's to run the numbers, and all of us can conclusively look at a deal and says, you know, unless we're 100% satisfied that the model that we use, obviously it's a model, right?
Okay.
And if the
And by model, you mean a financial
financial model. Sorry,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah,
And so,
that's all right.
and
Remember, I'm a construction guy.
yeah, yeah, that's true. And so you look at that and said it's just like a business plan.
Okay.
Here's the business plan of this
Gotcha.
asset. This is what we're going to do to make money. We're going to exit or sell the asset.
Okay.
We're going to pull all that capital out. Investors are going to share in that profit. So we got to make sure that what we targeted, we hoped going to happen, is not hope, but is reality. Market changes and
Sure.
they fluctuate. We've been through enough.
And that's the timing and the cycles that you were talking about earlier.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we don't want to stretch out too far because we can't. Our crystal ball doesn't go that far.
Yeah. Can't see over the horizon.
Yeah, you can't. As long as I can see a little bit, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah.
All right, great. And just kind of you're segueing here, and we've talked about ethos in general, the mission statement, how it's investor focused, investor driven, and we've talked a little bit about the three of us and kind of what we do and how we fit in this, and how this goes into asset acquisition, capital preservation, returns to investors. I think we've hit on that. I don't know how far in the weeds we want to get into that.
Yeah.
Well, I think so. Go ahead.
No, you love that stuff.
I know.
I think really, to me, it would be what do I do? What do you do? What
exactly.
do you do?
Yeah.
How do we do this?
How's the and
Exactly.
obviously there's another team behind us. So
Sure.
But as the partners of the fund and the money, we're the fund managers
Yes.
of the fund. What is my role? What do
Yeah.
I do? What's
Yeah,
my
what-
daily role over the fund? So obviously, my responsibilities as the fund manager is to make sure that everything is kind of just like a fine oiled machine is running. And we're acquiring assets or looking at assets a lot. Deal
The
flow.
deal flow, yeah.
Obviously, from a deal flow, once we start getting the deal flow, they run to the analyst. That's Troy's job, and that's his department. And then anything as far as if it's an existing asset or a development deal we're looking at, obviously it goes to you and your expertise of looking at the contracts, contractors, vetting them. Is that good? What's the soils like? What's the what's steel? All those
Sure.
numerous things that happen in real estate. It's all fixtures. It's all things that we need to know about, and you know that very well, and he knows all the numbers well. So, my job is to put the whole team together and then run the projections. Run, is it good enough for us as a team to look at and says, is this worthy of our investment?
Sure.
And as the meeting of what we call our credit board, our credit meetings, and talking about we have 3 or 4 deals. Is this the one we're going to do? Reject it. If there's anything we don't feel good about the project, feel good about what's heading as far as direction of the market, and also who the sponsors are.
The developers, the sponsors.
Right. So you got to vet everybody because we're going to partnership with somebody else, putting our capital in with them, and then we're also analyzing what the property looks like.
Yeah.
So my job is to make sure that all those functions go as planned. And so it's running through the whole system of our system. It's going through. And then also investor relations. I'm the point man for making sure the investors are comfortable with us. If there's issues or any questions, I'm here to answer them. I don't know all the answers, but I'll give them. I've been doing this for since 1981, I guess. So a little over 35 years or so. And like I said, I've seen a lot of deals, been blessed with a lot of transactions and looking at things. And so, as an appraiser and a lot of other, schooling and
Sure.
and all the other
All the
designations
facets, all the
you got to go
facets.
through in your career life. And
Yeah.
I was always one about never stop learning, and I don't even at my age. I continue to do that. And so, designations follow kind of your industry. And so I've been blessed to get those. And what does that do? What does that mean? It means basically I took an extra step.
Yeah. Did a little
To
bit
help you, to help me, and help us to understand the different facets. We've been talking in meetings before on looking at real estate and said, how about we consider this? And it was kind of experience, but also some knowledge, that has been through all the different facets of the real estate. So my job is to make sure that you guys do your jobs, and then also from an investor standpoint, and we all collectively look at properties that go in our fund, and from from this start to all the way to the end. That's kind of what my job is. So,
Good.
and I know you and I have known each other since I was building a retail center, and I met this guy on site, and he owned a large construction site company, and he said, "Hey, do you play golf?" And I go, "Well, kind of." And we went to play golf. It's a little side story. We went to play golf, and we're out there playing. And then at the end of the golf game, my nickname was Ricochet Mike.
Mike Ricochet Rainer.
I ricocheted off a couple of ribs.
We played a golf course in Keel Island in South Carolina that was heavily treed. I mean, it was tight.
my
It was
God.
one of those golf courses. It's not. We got to play the ocean course and some golf courses that didn't have a bunch of trees. But Mike and I played together one day on a golf course that was really huge trees, and it was not easy to navigate. And Mike it was a relatively new to the game, and so yeah, Ricochet was a good fit. But
So it's a nice ring to it.
Well,
we
20+
have,
years.
it is probably almost 30
2008.
years,
Yeah.
probably almost 30 years ago,
Yeah.
you know, and we've had the good fortune of working together on a number of projects, as well as staying, you know, in contact with each other and calling each other for expertise. You know, you were one of the people that I knew I could call and say, hey, I'm out of my depth here. What do I do?
Yeah.
You know, and you were always gracious enough to help me, and I know you've given back a lot to UTSA, and you've sat, you know, and you've given your time and effort and in our community, and we both have a community-minded spirit about. We want San Antonio to be a great place to live. We want to, you know, we would love for our children to be able to come back here and raise their kids and raise their families. And I think that matters.
Yeah.
You know, I think being part of the community, being tied to the community really does matter. And I think part of this is being a good steward of what we've been blessed with. And I think we have been blessed with,
Yeah.
with a number of things. And so I'm grateful for your friendship. But, you know, along the way, I've had the ability to build a number of projects and work on a number of things and work with some amazing people. You know, I had a boss that told me, you know, if you will take care of your customer, they'll take care of you. At the end of the day, you don't have to worry about making money. What you have to worry about is doing a really good job and being better at your job than anybody else they've ever dealt with.
All right.
And I've always tried to do that. I've always tried to do whatever it took. You know, if it means getting in my car at 10 o'clock at night and driving somewhere and going looking at something because it's raining and it's not working, then, you know, I'll go do that. And I still like to go do that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like you said, you were talking about integrity, and you know, my reputation matters. I want to be good at what I do.
Absolutely.
And I am getting old enough now. I'm usually the old guy in every meeting. And there's a bunch of young people that really do, you know, I mean, I had the good fortune of working I had a guy told me one time in a meeting that he had pants older than I was in a construction meeting. And it was the greatest non sequitur ever. But today I'm that guy. I've got clothing probably older than kids I'm sitting in meetings with. And I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but it is a thing that, you know, we learn by experience.
Right.
You know, and I've done a lot of stupid things. And I just, you know, I've suffered the consequences of them.
Right.
And I've been involved in lots of construction projects that have had a plethora of problems that we've had to overcome. And that serves you pretty well when you get to be our age.
Right.
You know, because one, you can see it coming. A little, you know, I can actually learn from these past experiences. And that is something that we bring to our investors.
God, yes.
Is, you know, we're not learning on their dime. We've already lost our own dimes and taken all those hickeys, and we have all those T-shirts that have holes in them now, and we're able to pass that on. And
Which
I
is a
think
good
that's
point,
something
you know,
that,
Jim.
you know, we
I'm
do
really
often.
thinking about that. I mean, from standpoint of kind of the new funds and new things. What's the team like?
Yeah.
What
Who
are
are the
the
people?
experiences they've had? You know, okay, we can raise capital, we can go invest, but do they have, you know, a guy that's been in the trenches?
No.
You know, from everything.
Yeah.
And obviously you've seen some great projects. You've been on some
I have.
fantastic,
Sure.
I mean, multi-million-dollar deals.
Sure, we've worked on things that cost hundreds of millions of dollars to build.
right? So, and you see the good. But the thing is, in real estate, it's not just land. You know, it is you have to build something on it to make money. And land,
Got to deal with the cities and
right?
all of the
rest
different.
of the stuff. So, if somebody's bringing a deal, is one of the main functions of real estate is the building or structure that's on there. And so, bringing an investment group together says, you know, help me understand kind of your culture, your ethos, and you're going, well, I've got somebody that's an expert in that.
Yeah.
Been there, done that.
And if
You
I'm
seen
not,
that?
we know who they are. I've got them in my phone.
Absolutely.
You do too.
So I think that brings a lot. Now I know that's why I teamed up with you, and Troy has been with me a long time. Is all the components of real estate need the expertise, and we fit.
Yeah, I think
All
you're
those
right.
things, absolutely. So, and then we got Troy.
We do. I mean, Troy can do all the things you and I can't. Mike can help with the big picture, and I can tell you what it's going to cost and how long it should take and all that. But Troy gets into the details and looks at and really enjoys it. Not only do you do it really well, you enjoy it.
No, I
I
appreciate
watch you
that.
get excited about
Yeah.
it. You know, because I send Troy stuff, and I'm like, hey, take a look at this. Let me know what you think. And he really gets, he's not put out. He's excited when I send him something.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, it's not just the numbers. It's kind of, for me, when I see an opportunity, like going back to kind of the sick and and the healthy, when you're looking at something and you're able to kind of, see a bigger picture of it, it lights me up. I don't know why it does. It just I just really enjoy it. So when I see an opportunity, and I'm like, okay, this is where it is currently. How do we get it to here? And what does it take to get it there? And then trying to figure out all those different factors to do that, to me, is just the best part of it. And then going back to, making the positive result. I love to be able to look at a property, that didn't have anything there before, whether it's a ground up, as an example, looking at a property and trying to figure out what the highest and best use was. And then putting the pieces together. It's like, okay, well, if this is the highest and best use, what is this going to cost to build? Right? And then, okay, if it's going to cost this, well, what can I rent it for? Or what can I lease it for? Or what can I sell it back for? And then trying to put those together and say, well, then what's my return out of all of this? And then, trying to figure out how I could not only create, something that's going to give an immediate return back, but something that's going to be there long term, be able to look back and say, I did that. I was able to figure out why this was wrong or why we were better in position to make this a positive asset and our income flowing and, giving somebody a return. It's just great for me. So, going back to my role in all of this, as the asset and portfolio manager, like Mike said, I've been working with him for now, 10 years.
Can't get rid of him.
And, my history is, I was in real estate. I got my real estate license when I was 18 years old, but I was more on the residential side. And to be very honest, I wasn't very good at it. I was more, when I would talk about real estate, I was really more about the investing side of it.
Yeah,
and that's where the product of the finances came in, and trying to figure out how to make returns, and making an asset that may need some opportunity to be fixed, to fix it and make it better. And so working with Mike, I've been doing property management now for 10 years, asset management as well. And in that, going back to what you were saying, asking me, how do I evaluate it? Well, I'm in the day-to-day operations. I'm talking with the tenants. I'm talking with the vendors. I'm talking with my contractors, trying to figure out what we need. Looking at rollovers for the tenants that are coming up. What's it going to cost to finish out their space? What's the market rent look like? What's the sub-market look like? What's the overall market look like? So all these different numbers and factors, so that way I can figure out and forecast. Is this going to make this, or is it? Do we need to make that change? We need to adjust and try to figure out what the overall is going to be later on. But doing that and then going into the asset side, kind of going to look at the long-term portfolio. For me, it's just. I don't know. It's just be great to be able to say, hey, here's where this is at, and we're going to get you a positive return. You're going to get not only going to get your money back, but you're going to ride with us and make 2 or 3 times your money.
Oh, wow.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's good. I mean, there's so many different models, and obviously he has a little bit of. Well, you're a appraiser too.
I was.
Yeah, so we all have demons inside. I'm blessed that I was able to. Be an appraiser back in the 80s. Yeah. And still am. I'm still licensed as a general certified appraiser.
Really?
In the state of Texas. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. So you got to keep up with your trades.
Continuing education.
Absolutely.
Keep your license current.
Yeah, and that's helped me. And so from the standpoint of just analysis, we've seen a lot of packages and and number crunching and so forth. You go, does it pass the smell test? Is it really good? And so you wear these hats. I'm an appraiser. Okay, that's not. Come on. It's a little fluffy here. And then we look at the analyst, look at the investment standpoint. So you're switching hats all the time, going, okay, is this deal right?
Is it bankable?
Bankable.
I mean,
and then we throw it to the tiger and you go, okay, analyze it. It's like, whoa, and then you really break down the components. What's real? What's not real? What's realistic? Again, going back to our fundamentals of our mission statement, right? Yeah. Risk adjusted, integrity. Yeah. When I feel good putting my money in this deal and riding with my partners, my limited partners in this deal. Yeah. I mean, so and all of us are that way. It's like if I'm riding, I'm riding this deal just with everybody else.
It's so our money's just like your money.
I'm at risk here,
and we all are,
right? And we're just bringing our expertise to that. But so I think that his numbers and his packages and analysts from standpoint of underwriting a deal is phenomenal.
Sure,
just totally fun. Sometimes I got to tell him tone it down, but phenomenal. Yeah.
Well, that's great. I mean, this is the part where we try to kind of close up, wrap up, whatever you want to call it. In summarizing, we've talked about Ethos IRR's mission statement, the team, the investment strategy, what the benefits are to the investors. I mean, how does an investor go from having moderate interest to what would their next step be? How would they look to invest money with us? I mean, what would they do? How would that happen?
Well, the easy part, if they just want to kind of start to stick their toe in it first, and it would be go to our website, ethosirr.com, and there's information there on our website. There's a link to our flyers and information about what the fund is, what our returns are, how does it, how do you go to the next step?
Okay.
Once the next step is then, you'll be submitted into our portal, investor portal, fill out a subscription agreement. Very, very detailed. We have spent a lot of time with our attorneys, spent a lot of time investment in making sure the platform is very readable, very understandable. I know we have gone for brain damage about doing that because and I know I've been the catalyst of doing of that, spending more than we should.
Well, that's okay, but I mean, I know we have there's a summary page. There's some summary to it, and then if you want to get off in the weeds, there's hundreds of pages of detail.
Absolutely. But I wanted to, as you guys know, I was on the attorneys about make it legal. Absolutely. But also make it understandable, readable. Because when people read this thing, I don't want them to go, oh my gosh, they're
you can get lost in the weeds in the legalese.
It's kind of like just old English and it just gets crazy. Yeah. We just, again, it's kind of like us talking amongst ourselves to say, I'm going to do a real estate deal. Would you like to join me in doing a real estate deal? This is what's going to happen.
Okay.
And that's kind of the fundamentals
Here are the parameters.
Right. So go to our website, try to look at that, say, hey, I'm more interested in it. And then you give us a call.
Really?
Absolutely. Give me a call.
Pick up the phone?
Right. All of us are available to help, whatever it is. I mean, if it's not even Ethos, if it's real estate something.
Sure. Yeah, we could be absolutely. Where we can be helpful to somebody out there.
I do counseling all the time, and for people that I had one yesterday call me, and he's an architect, and he said, "Hey, I'm getting ready to close my business in the next 5 years, have this office building. How do I go through this transition to do this?" And we have partners. And I said, "Let me walk you through it."
Yeah.
I'll help you walk you through, the partner the buyout, and then the real estate part of that deal. So if it's not even Ethos and you want to call us about a real estate deal, construction, or analysts, whatever it is, we're here to help.
So that's one of the things, the resource piece.
Giving back. Yes. That's one of those things we give back.
Absolutely.
So I think the big thing is go to our website and then we can start from there.
Okay.